You're listening to Puma Podcast.
Hi, I'm Tatiana Maligro Puma Podcast, and you're listening to Teka Teka. Filipinos continue to break barriers in the respective fields, waving our country's flag on the international stage. Their stories give the world a glimpse of what Filipinos can bring to the table and inspire those back home to continue pursuing their dreams. One of these Filipinos is para-power lifter Adeline Ads Dumapong, who took Sichentenko Malolos through her story from bagging her first Paralympic medal to advocating for PWD inclusion in sports. Let's listen in on their conversation in another Puma Podcast program, Go Hard Girls.
Hello, ako si Adeline Dumapong, isang para-powerlifter. Ako ang kauna-unahang babaeng nakakuha ng medalya sa Paralympic para sa Pilipinas. At ako din ay 19-time medalist sa ASEAN Para Games, Asian Games, at sa World Games. Yan. Pinagsama-samang medalya po yan.
Recently, Ads' incredible life story reached over 20 million views on YouTube, something we'll talk about later. But before the world knew her as a Paralympic medalist, her journey began in the mountains of Kiangan, Ifugao. Let's go back to where it all started, her childhood and the challenge that changed the course of her life.
So I was born in 1973, no, in Kiangan, Ifugao, and I know that life was peaceful, except that when I was 3 years old, I got polio. Of course, it started as, simpleng lagnat bata lang. But yeah, after 2 days of having high fever, my mom decided to bring me down the mountains. Kasi talagang literal, nasa bundok kami nakatira. So my mom had to hike down the mountains for 8 hours, no? So 8 hours walang sasakyan, walang ganun. Only to get to the center, yung Rural Health Center or yung RHU. Pagdating namin doon, there was this Belgian nurse, no, na pero
The Belgian nurse was a nun who was among a group of missionaries in the area. She told Ads' family that it might be polio. They then made an even longer journey to Manila to confirm the diagnosis. These days, the Philippines is polio free, but we can't overstate how widespread and terrifying polio is as a disease. It attacks the nervous system and can paralyze limbs, the spine, even one's respiratory system, leaving a child unable to breathe. By the mid 20th century, polio killed over 500,000 children worldwide per year.
of course, Ifugao kami. So, marami kaming yung nakasanayan na ginagawa sa kultura namin. So, pinauwi kami sa probinsya ulit, dun sa bundok, kung saan kami nakatira. Tapos sabi ng lola at lola ko na dapat daw, baka daw kasi pinaglalaroan ako ng engkanto, ganyan. So, they had to slaughter a lot of pigs and chickens, ganyan. And they made a wooden doll for me. It was called Bulul, no? Para daw sa kanya mapunta yung galit nung engkanto sa akin. So, anyways, to cut the long story short, hindi naman nangyari. Wala naman. So, marami lang akong nakain mga karne ng baboy. So, at manok. After that naman ay yung rounds naman of yung mga albularyo, ano pa ba, faith healer. So, syempre my parents really wanted to do everything, no, para makalakad ako. Pero wala pa rin nangyari. So,
The polio vaccine was invented in 1955, but it was only in 1979 that a mass vaccination campaign took place in the Philippines. 3 years too late for ads.
saka yung polio kasi iba-iba yung tinatamaan niya. So, there are those na isang paa lang, so they just limp. Meron naman yung isang kamay lang. Meron naman from neck down. Ako naman, ang polio ko is from waist down. So, doon yung tama ng polio sa akin. Yeah.
At the time, inclusion for persons with disabilities was not a common topic for discussion. But the Belgian nurse kept in touch and helped the family find a way forward.
So, at age of 6, again, tinanong ng madre, so what are your plans for your daughter? Ganyan. And they didn't know anything. Kasi they were hindi naman nila alam, no? Konti lang ang mga may kapansanan sa community and they did not know. Yung iba tinatago kasi nga ito sa curse daw, ganyan. It is a curse na that befell the family, kaya ganun. So sila, hindi rin nila alam kung ano nga ba yung plano nila para sa akin. Thankfully, thank God talaga na merong madre na nagsabi, na Belgian, na sinabi niya na, why don't you bring her to Manila for her to get an education, ganyan.
At 6 years old, Ads was brought to Manila to an institution called Bahay Mapagmahal, where she would spend her elementary and high school years. For PWDs at the time, including Ads, specialized institutions were the only option, as children with disabilities were not integrated into mainstream schools. Today, experts advocate for mainstreaming, creative inclusive environments where children with disabilities can learn alongside their able-bodied peers. But back then, Bahay Mapagmahal served as a lifeline for Ads. It was here that she discovered her love for sports, which would go on to change the course of her life.
Kasi nga dahil malakas naman yung upper part ng body ko, tag dito, sa school, 'di ba? Sa school, mahilig ako makipaglaro talaga. Ang personality ko is really alam mo yun, yung parang active talaga ako and I want to be part of the action. Hindi ako yung parang tingin-tingin lang, ganun. Masasabi, hindi ako yung shy type. Ganun, ganun, hindi ako ganun. Sino daw magkakarera? I will always volunteer. Plus, alam mo kasi, that institution where I grew up, napaka-strict talaga niya. Pero pag nagsa-sports ka, doon medyo nakaka-escape ka. Kasi you'll be allowed to go outside the compound, ganyan. So, para makatakas doon sa mga duties or mga ganyan, I would always volunteer for swimming, for wheelchair basketball, for kahit anong sport, wheelchair racing, javelin shot put, discus throw, yan. Lahat yan, I tried all that, yeah.
And gaano po kayo ka-competitive as a child?
Very competitive. And doon siguro lahat lumalabas. People would come and, give inspirational talks, ganyan. It was like, a sponge, no? Parang lahat tinitake ko yung sinasabi nila. At meron mahilig mag-sermon doon na elderly na palagi niyang sinasabi na kayong mga may kapansanan, dapat pag-igihan ninyo yung buhay ninyo. You should finish your studies, your ganito. Kasi sabi niya, dito sa Pilipinas, kapag may kapansanan ka, ang tingin sa'yo, kawawa. Gusto niyo bang maging kawawa? So, alam mo yun, I grew up, no, na having that voice inside to I want to be the best at the things that I can do. So sa school, sa sports, sa music, yung mga ganon. And
Mm-mm.
salamat, no? At kaya alam mo, malaking bagay yung mga nagpupuntang mga volunteers sa mga institutions and sharing yung those words of wisdom. Kasi kami bilang mga bata na lumalaki, sila lang yung, alam mo yun, parang for us at the time, they were like celebrities coming to visit us and it really makes impact, no, in our lives.
In high school, Ads was always active and incredibly competitive. She never backed down from a challenge and always wanted to win. That drive didn't fade after school. After finishing college and starting her career, Ads was introduced to para powerlifting, a sport that allowed her to channel her competitive spirit and strength.
Para powerlifting was relatively new. So, ano naman, mga lalaki, hoy, laki-laki mo, parang gano'n, magbuhat nga tayo dun sa, mga lalaki to mga lalaki na buhat daw kami sa old gym ng hospital. Kasi I would still go back to the hospital kahit na natapos na ako. Kasi it was home for me I mean, I grew up there for 10 years, ganyan, bumabalik ako palagi doon. Anyway, so, with the supervision of the physical therapist and OT, occupational therapist. Sige, buhat kayo dyan. Kami ako lang syempre babae. Puro sila lalaki. Syempre, it was my chance to, beat them at their game. So, buhat kami, ganyan. Wala, tapos, malakas talaga ako. So, natalo ko yung marami sa kanila. Marami sa kanila. Siguro magdalawa lang, hindi ko natalo dun eh. Grabe, ang lakas mo, ganon. And then, they just asked me to go back there for, kung pwede, pag inaalaw ng trabaho. Ayun, and so, there was this local competition and they said, sama ka, ganyan. Kahit ako lang mag-isa babae, syempre sama ako. Gold medal ako.
Ads won her first gold medal, but not for the reasons you might think.
Kasi ako lang mag-isa. Wala
Wow.
akong kalaban. Hindi, kasi wala akong kalaban.
Anong year to? Anong year ang ganong ka-early na wala pang ibang babae?
I think it was 1996. Kasi they would, alam mo na, yung mga kaibigan kong babae, they would see me, lift weights kasama ng mga lalaki. Ayaw nila. Kasi male-dominated sport to, di ba? It's either pang lalaki, pang tomboy. Akala nila tomboy ako. So, babae po ako. Pero, yun. So, ayaw nila. Kasi pang ano daw yan eh. Pang mga brusko. So, yeah. So, for I think two local competitions, I competed as the only girl, no? Syempre, hindi naman, I got gold medal kasi hindi naman, may iba-ibang category yon. But everybody was saying na, uy, ang lakas mo, ganyan, ganyan. Until somebody said, let me send your record to the International Paralympic Committee. Tignan natin kung may pag-asa ba to. So, yeah. And then I was invited to compete in Thailand in 1999. That was the first international competition for powerlifting.
Wow.
Siyempre, hindi ko alam kung anong gagawin ko, di ba? Kasi ang coach ko, yung madreng nagpalaki sa akin. And although, ay, Diyos
So yung
ko.
ibang mga atleta, yung coach nila ay talagang coach,
Coaches
full-time coach.
talaga,
Tapos,
oo.
tapos
Sa
may
akin,
bit-bit kang
madre.
madre.
Yes, may bitbit akong madre. At ang gagawin namin ay magdasal, di ba? So, nakuha sa dasal. Ganun ka ano yun dati. So, yeah. And then, but I won a silver medal. And that was the first time.
Wow.
That was in 1999. And that was the first time I heard of the Paralympic Games. So, para sa akin, ano yung Paralympic Games? Kasi, basta parang sinasabi lang na, oh, maybe she has a chance to compete in the Paralympic Games. Pero, wala nang masyadong dating sa akin yun. Parang, ay, makapag-travel ako, gusto ko yun. No, I was not matured as an athlete I was just doing it for myself. Dalhin daw ako sa US, ganyan, for the qualifier for the Sydney Paralympic Games. So, we went to the US. I won a gold medal. Pero wow.
Once Ad started competing abroad, it was an eye-opening experience. She saw firsthand how other countries' para-athletes had full teams, dedicated coaches, assistant coaches, proper support systems. Meanwhile, Filipino para-athletes worked on a shoestring budget. But despite these disparities, she pushed forward, driven by her love for powerlifting and her determination to succeed.
Ano po
Yeah.
yung suot nyo? What would you wear?
Yeah.
Anong uniform naman?
I remember kulay puting t-shirt na may Philippines dito. Yun lang. It was the only uniform that we had. Tig-isang piraso. Pag naisip ko ngayon, parang siguro kasi at the time then, pasimula pa lang yung powerlifting. So, they allowed us to use yung wala pa silang parang official na ito lang dapat yung brand na gagamitin. Kasi ngayon meron na na you can only use this brand to compete. Dati wala. So, you can just use yung puting-puting t-shirt, tapos sige, parang singlet, ganyan. They used to allow that. The support of the Philippine Sports Commission, wala pa. Pero when they learned that I qualified for the Sydney Paralympic Games, they gave me 3 months na support. No? So, nandun kami sa Manila, sa Philippine Sports Commission
Yes.
sa Manila. Doon ako nakatira. Tapos doon din nagtitraining. Tapos first time na may allowance, ganon. So, yeah, pero going to the Sydney Paralympic Games, walang masyadong expectation from me. wala, parang, punta ka lang. Sila, oo. Pero ako sa sarili ko at that time, may pressure kasi competitive ako, eh. Gusto ko meron akong makuha, eh, 'di ba? Kasi I was getting medals na dun sa ano, so sa iba kong mga sabi ko, gusto ko magka-medal. Kahit okay lang sa kanila na wala akong medal, ayoko. Gusto ko may medal ako. Ganon.
The big day finally came. The 2000 Paralympic Games in Sydney, Australia.
So doon, I was really intimidated. As in, parang sobrang nagulat ako. Kasi, syempre, this is the Paralympic Games. Tapos, my gosh, ganun sila ganun sila ka confident yung mga aking ako. Diyos ko, saan ba to? Ganun. Yeah, and really, I was intimidated. I have a different coach, no? Na hindi na yung madre. May iba na akong coach talaga. Yeah, pero ganun pa rin, we were both not confident na ano. Ang sinasabi lang niya sa akin, Adeline, just do your, nag-training tayo for 3 months, do your best, ganyan, ganyan, ganyan. So yeah, nung the day of the competition, no, parang, alam mo yung confidence talaga nila na parang, I'll go there and get the gold. Yung ganun. Wala akong ganun. Ang sobrang, bubuhat lang po ako. Ganun lang yung ano ko. And, yeah, and then, kasi dun sa, the gold medal was, unang-una na yun Emma Brown from UK. And then, the second silver was, Ali Nadia from Egypt. Tapos kami, nag-tie kami, US, Nigeria, Philippines. Pare-pareho, pantay-pantay yung binuhat namin. So parang, alam mo yun, yung coach ko, ako, okay lang ako kasi hindi ko naiintindihan pa masyado kung ano yung nangyayari. Pero yung coach ko talaga, Adeline, ano to ha? Galingan mo ha? Huwag mong isipin kahit ano. Pero hindi ko alam.
In the event of a tie, or athletes lifting the same total weight, the win goes to the athlete with the lowest body weight. And so, even though Ads didn't fully understand what was happening, even if there was barely anyone cheering her on in the venue, Ads took home the bronze medal, lifting 110 kilograms or 242.5 pounds, the Philippines' first ever medal in the Paralympics.
Masasabi din, it was really a blessing. And also, in the audience, walang Pinoy kasi they did not know na na may padala ang Pilipinas. Kasi hindi naman daw sumasali ang Pilipinas. It was the first time that the Philippines joined the Paralympic Games. And, many people do not even know how to pronounce Philippines properly. Parang tayo, Philippines, o kaya, the Philippians, Philippians tayo. Diba?
Nasa
Ganon.
Biblia tayo, ganon.
Oo.
I think back to what you said earlier about when you were a kid, someone said, kailangan pag-igihan mo yung buhay mo, kailangan gawin mo yung best mo. Were you thinking of that while you were at the Sydney Paralympics? Or was it just
O
buhat-buhat mo na siya ever since na hindi mo na kailangan isipin, nandun na siya sa puso mo?
yes, nandun na siya sa puso ko. Parang buong buhay ko, hanggang ngayon, yun pa rin yung iniisip ko. Kumbaga, nasa loob na yun. So, hindi siya kailangan consciously isipin kasi I think naka-embed na. Diyos ko sa haba, mula pagkabata hanggang sa graduate ako, yun yung palaging sinasabi that, tawag dito, kahit anong gagawin mo, parang you have to give it all your best. When I saw that flag going up, parang konti nag-sink in sa'kin na parang, hindi lang para sa akin 'to, para din pala sa Pilipinas. Parang thank God 'no, kahit papaano alam nila na, "Uy, nakita ano bang flag 'yun?" Flag ng Philippines 'yun. Kasi kung hindi pa nila alam, ayan, hindi kami Filipians, we are Filipinos, yung mga gano'n. So, yeah, I felt a little bit of
Yes.
that.
This was more than a personal triumph. It was a victory for the entire nation, a symbol that Filipino para athletes had arrived on the global stage.
Alam mo ba, Siege, I don't even have a proper picture of me receiving my medal. Yes.
No.
Yes, kasi nga, nung time na yon ang nasa audience lang na Filipino, si Mr. Barredo at saka yung asawa niya, Mrs.
She's referring to Michael Barredo, the founding president of the National Paralympic Committee of the Philippines. He had been a varsity athlete before losing his eyesight in a car accident, becoming one of the Philippines' fiercest advocates for para athletes.
Kasi ano siya, visually impaired. So, di ba siya nakaka-camera, di ba? Wala, yung coach ko was with me inside. So, when they asked me, do you have a picture of me receiving my medal? Wala po. Wala. Not even a video kasi alam
Oh.
ko, nagvi-video sila pero nasira yung video cam, ganyan.
Despite not having a picture, Ad still has the memories of celebrating with the community.
Ganyan. So, ayun. So, when I got out from the sa labas na, no, pupunta na ako, tuwang-tuwa din syempre, no, si Mr. Barredo kasi sila talaga he was really the one who pushed for support, tapos ganyan. And then, may nagbigay sa akin ng flowers, ganyan. Pagkatapos, sunod-sunod na yon. So, the Filipino community learned about it and we were invited by the ambassador. Tapos, dito, alam mo naman mga Pinoy sa ibang bansa, napakababait. So, in-invite nila kami, pinag-shopping nila ako, yung mga ganon. And yun, so the whole team. Yeah, it was really a very good experience.
After her monumental achievement, she was faced with a life changing decision that could take her in a completely new direction.
And I was offered to
Mm-mm.
stay. I was offered to stay in Australia if I want now to play for their team. Kasi nga, wala pa silang mga babaeng lifter din. Ano yan? Tapos, yeah. So, I asked permission from Sir Mike. Sabi ko, Sir, pwede bang, can I stay? Kasi, wala naman akong kailangan balikan dito. Tapos na ako magtrabaho. Tapos na ako mag-aral. Nagtatrabaho na ako. And for me, parang, wow, parang brighter future. Parang mas maganda to. Even at that time, I had those thoughts already. Pero sabi sa akin, Adeline, kailangan mong bumalik sa Pilipinas at magpasalamat sa mga taong tumulong. And, this win can help, I don't know, open doors for the para-athletes, no? Filipino para-athletes. So, yun. So, naintindihan ko naman. So, we came back and then, and that was 2000, 2001, nagkaroon ng 9064, that's the RA, 9064, giving incentives to Filipino athletes. Pero unfortunately, hindi kasama ang mga para-athletes. And that's when yung panalo ko sa Sydney Paralympic Games was used to, to show the government, no, or na i-amend yung RA, yung Republic Act na yon, to recognize athletes with disabilities din.
RA 9064, or the Athletes Incentives Act, was a major turning point for Filipino sports. It provided financial rewards and other benefits to athletes who excel in international competitions. However, it did not include para-athletes. ADS's victory at the Sydney Paralympics helped push for its amendment to include para-athletes. So after 15 years, the act was amended to provide financial incentives for para-athletes. However, para-athletes still only receive 50% of what the able-bodied athletes get. And today, ADS is still advocating for full equality in these rewards.
Kasi Pilipino din
Nice.
naman yan. And we also, yeah, so ganon ang mga pangyayari.
Yeah. So parang may purpose siya, pero na-reveal lang later. And I'm sure over your career, dumami na ang mga Filipino para powerlifters. And sa mga taong nakakausap mo, nakakahalubilo mo, how has para powerlifting empowered you and other athletes with impaired mobility?
Kasi as I told you, no, I have always been into sports, right? But it is in powerlifting that I was given, that I excelled in. I was given the opportunity to really also showcase, no, the strength that I have instead of my disability. Alam mo yun? So, yun yung tag dito. Sa tingin ko, yun ang naging pinaka malaking ano ba, parang malaking ah, nagawa sa akin ng powerlifting. Kasi nga parang do'n ko naipakita that I can excel doon sa well, una that's pang lalaki na sport 'no, at that time. This is what we're talking about 25 years ago, 27 years ago, na talaga namang alam mo na ngayon ang landscape is better 'no, kaysa pero noon tawag dito talagang alam mo yun panlalaki, may kapansanan. Tas alam mo I was able to excel in that sport. It opened a lot of doors for me. And then siyempre hindi kasi palagi naman hindi lang para sa akin, eh, 'di ba? Kasi ayun, marami na yung kahit papaano na, "Ay ate sama din ako. Gusto ko din yan te." Ganyan, ganyan. So, marami ng mga mas bata na who also want to experience, 'no? Kasi I would tell them about my experience as dumadami na kami. And then, yun. So, it really cut across some issues, no, sa sector namin na hindi lang para sa akin, kundi para din naman sa ikabubuti ng sector.
Ads not only made us proud by showcasing Pinoy excellence on an international stage, but her story is also a reminder to continue pursuing our dreams while never forgetting where we came from and the communities that uplifted us throughout our journey. So if you learned something new or if Ads' story inspired you, it would be great if you shared this episode with a friend. Again, I'm Tatiana Maligro. This episode was produced by Isabel Haplit and edited by Jen Garcia, while the version of the episode you just listened to was produced by Jill Caro and edited by Anthony Tobias. Also, be sure to follow Go Hard Girls wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.